right, folks. So it's time for the secret sauce, and today we're going to talk about why we should spend on specialty threads. So, what do specialty threads do for people in the embroidery world? So, specialty threads can be much more than a chance for embroiderers and digitizers to engage in creative experiments. They can change the way you address designs, expand your catalog of looks and solutions to increase value for you and your customers. Used properly, they increase not only versatility but the prices you can command, and without drastically increasing your investment. Why do they add value? Number one, sure, they stand out. So the thing I'm going to say, specialty threads, the way we define these, most of the thread that we're using is polyester. It's usually 40 weight thread, and it usually has a high sheen, but there are all of these options for thread outside of that. All of it is usually done. All of our embroidery, especially in the commercial world, is usually a similar thickness, coloration, surface quality. Threads that stray from that norm catch the eye. Metallics, thick threads, fuzzy threads, threads that have a matte finish all catch the eye. Commercial embroidery largely deals with promotional products, and so seeing as even the most mundane logo still has that function of promoting or identifying a brand, the end goal is almost always garnering attention and conveying a message. No logo is meant to go unseen, so that even the least contrasting tone-to-tone design communicate a message of that professionalism of that brand. Even that message is, this is the logo and the company behind it is subtle and confident. That can still be a message. And the thing is, we can have more language to promote that message if we use these different threads. Promotional products are poorly executed. They can't bring attention to the brand or message they're meant to convey. And embroidery absolutely is no different than any other promotional product in this way. Specialty threads help to get those designs to break away from the standard mode of decoration without necessarily having to do a redesign. You can often swap specialty threads right in for existing threads with very minor changes to your execution or your digitizing. It increases both the actual value and the perceived value you can deliver. And I think that's the thing that you might not think about specialty threads. It's not just the look and the sheen. It can also be the way that those things work. The thread actually has a job to do. So we're talking about actual value. An offering can provide measurable utility to your client. For example, fire-resistant threads maintain the safety of the wearer. Less critically, matte finish threads might have a really high resistance to UV fading, meaning that you can do outdoor installations or things that are meant to be outdoors without fading and damage. These are absolutely measurable things. Less frequent need for replacement or extra protection. Easily demonstrated benefits are great to sway your customer to buy your product over one that lacks that utility. The thing is, some specialty threads might even be imperceptible to your customer, like a 30 weight versus a 40 weight, a slightly thicker thread, but it reduces stitch count, and it means that you can deliver either faster or cheaper, or just make it more efficient for yourself, providing actual value for your shop by increasing your efficiency, to which you can leverage for increased profitability. The more subtle one is perceived value. And perceived value is when something has a higher perception of value to the customer, they believe it is worth more than another offering, regardless of the added utility or the investment on your part. For instance, if you use thin threads that allow for crisper details and smaller lettering than your competitions, it makes your work look different and likely cleaner than theirs. And thus, it can seem to have a higher value for a client that prefers those precise renderings of their logo. If you master the use of metallic threads and can provide a shiny, glittering effect that your competition didn't think to offer, the perception of rarity and cost causes your work to stand apart and look expensive. You can produce decorations that look handmade with fuzzy threads or thick threads. They can appear seamlessly beside an existing vintage decoration without the time or cost of manual embroidery, making it fit into that vertical you might not do if you were using just standard polyester thread. And that means you can command a higher price than the work that is not offered, because you have that extra idea in your customer's mind that not only you can do this creative work, but your shop as a whole is more creative and versatile. And thus, not only your work, but you as a producer have a higher value. Lets them justify paying more for your production than they might consider a commodity price done by a less adventurous competitor who doesn't dabble in any specialty materials. Even if a customer never orders these threads themselves, your shop looks more experienced and more skilled if you show samples explaining and expounding on how you could use these threads in their creative endeavors. Simply because you swapped in less conventional thread, you may increase your profile. So ultimately, this is creative and cost-effective. The curse of adventurously creative people in the business is easy for us to do something for the thrill of just making something new or make something cool without thinking if it's good for business. So many of my decorator friends and myself very much included, we find ourselves desperate just to make something cool, to make something new, to make it look different. Luckily, the value proposition for specialty threads is one that I've seen driving real growth in many production environments. Novelty drives the sales almost as much as quality, if not more. And if that weren't enough, many businesses have been become well known for being the insert specialty decoration here shop. And sometimes that can be as simple as learning how to use different materials. With that single outstanding specialty material or process serving as a springboard to further work, both simple and unconventional work alike. If they trust you with their specialties, they often trust you with their staples. So with the relatively inexpensive outlay required to test specialty threads, particularly when compared to the addition of new equipment necessary for most new processes you might add to a shop, there's little reason not to indulge both your creative side and your business sense by exploring the possibility of specialty threads. And that is my secret sauce.